Oh, hello. Welcome to episode 21 of the Top 2 Inches Rugby podcast, brought to you by I Spy Surveys, the go-to specialist survey and inspection company based in Exeter, Devon. So, what is going to be on this episode? Ollie will be here once again, and we will review the latest round of the Gallagher Premiership. An interesting weekend was had by all, let's just say. Lots of stuff to kind of mull over, review, and give our professional, maybe not professional, but our opinions on. We'll also check in on the ladies' game in the Allianz Premier 15s. Another interesting weekend and another Harlequins loss, I think, if I've done my research rightly or even correctly. And we'll also check in, unfortunately, on the Fantasy Rugby. Did my dastardly plan of sacrificing 60 points to make some significant changes to my team work, or has Ollie just completely forged ahead even further? We'll find out later in this episode. So, as ever, we are available on all kind of platforms such as Spotify, YouTube, Anchor, and Apple Podcast. We're also over on Twitter, which is at Top 2 Inches RP. So go to Twitter, give us a follow, give us a subscribe. Each week the episodes are dropped into our feed. There's also other stuff that we comment on, games over the weekend, views, opinions, etc. So get involved, leave your comments. If you agree with us, cool. If you disagree, that's fine. Everybody has their own opinion and we're happy to kind of discuss that. So I'll stop rabbiting on now and we'll crack on with the episode. Okay, it's time to check in on the Allianz Premier 15 for the ladies. This weekend saw some rearranged games, firstly between DMP Durham Sharks and Sale Sharks. Unfortunately for DMP, it was another loss. I think that makes it 10 games played and 10 defeats. They sitting at the bottom of the table on 0 points. It's really hard. It must be really hard for DMP to turn out each week and kind of be on the end of a significant scoreline. But on a different note, hats off to them. They are turning up each week. They haven't just thrown in the towel and said, stuff it, the season's over. They're there and they're doing their best. So carry on, girls. Keep going. Good on you. The second game was between Harlequins women and Wasp ladies. I think I made a comment in the introduction that Wasp ladies had beaten Harlequins. Not unfortunately for Harlequins, they actually did win. They came out on top 2019. I think I saw the score towards the end of the game where Wasp were winning. But Harlequins ladies came back and took the game 20-19. So well played to the Harlequins ladies, because I think that would have been 3 defeats in a row for them, which would not have been good. If we just check out the table for the ladies game, Saracens women remain on top with 10 wins and 1 loss. Harlequins in second, Loughborough Lightning in third, Wasp ladies in fourth, and Exeter Chiefs in fifth. As I said, DMP are down the bottom. Then Sale, Worcester, Bristol, Gloucester are in sixth. So we'll check in on the Premier 15s for the ladies next week and see what the results are there. Hello, mate. How are you? Can you hear me?
Hello, mate. I can hear you loud and clear.
Good. Not sure what happened there. More freaking technical difficulties, isn't it?
It's all down your end, mate. It's all down your end.
Modern technology.
No problems over here. No problems over here.
Modern technology is not good. It's not good. Anyway, we're here now and we are short on time today, but that's okay.
You are, mate. I got tons of time.
Of course you have. Obviously, there's a lot to talk about. I don't know why I'm shouting, so let me just calm down. So there's a lot to talk about this week. Let's just start with the news and looking ahead to the Six Nations. So the game between France and Scotland awaits a Wednesday decision because they've had more positive tests. Not looking good for the French, is it?
No, it's not looking good, is it? There's, I think, is it another 5 player tested positive, I think, is it?
Yeah.
There's about 11 in the whole sort of squad and setup isolating from what I read. But it's not looking positive because it's the tests are this week, as far as I know, aren't they? Earlier in the week. So it's getting a bit close to game time.
To the mark, isn't it? So at the moment, They've got Olivon, Bryce Dulin, I can't say these French names, Roman Tawafanua, Peter Makavaka. That doesn't sound right at all. Anyway, these lads are the new lads that have tested positive on Monday.
And Dupont.
Dupont as well, yeah. So the other guys...
Being the key one, that's...
Yeah, that's a massive one. So Dupont, Vincent, Marchard, Villiers, Howarth, they're already the ones that tested positive. So's Gautier and Savat. I reckon this could be called off, mate. Scotland given the win. France's Grand Slam's over. I just can't see what they're going to do.
It's looking ever more likely that's probably going to be the way, isn't it? Whether they can, you don't know exactly how they sort of manage these things, but whether they can sort of draft in players, prove they're fine, and sort of scratch a squad and a team together that way. Don't know, mate. And the other thing is, I don't know if it's confirmed about the 5-point win or whether it might be a postponed fixture, because I did read someone was suggesting that potentially it's going to be postponed if it's can't go ahead this weekend.
Because there's another fallow week, is there, where they could play it?
Yeah, I think there is, isn't there? Yeah, so
okay.
So that could be their saving grace, even if they can't play this weekend.
Yeah, that could.
We will find out tomorrow, mate.
We will find out, and that definitely could be a saving grace, though. That'd be quite an interesting one. So okay, there's not much point in dwelling on that. That's the sort of situation. We're not going to find out until tomorrow. So let's just move to the side. So obviously, I get all my information from the BBC website for sport. I'm not sure if it's the most.
Yeah. You keep plugging them, mate. Are you sponsored by them or something like
that? So there's an interesting read that says COVID lockdown. Up to 10,000 fans could return to stadiums mid-May. Fantastic. That'd be good.
Yeah. Okay. Haven't read that one, but yeah, that's definitely good.
So Chris Jones, it's basically the tagline reads Lions home tour. The possibility of a home British and Irish Lions tour has moved a step closer after Boris Johnson's announcement that there could be capacity crowds in English stadiums in late June. Are we still saying no, don't do it, don't have a home fixture, or are we thinking why not?
For the Lions?
Yeah.
Well, when this sort of first cropped up, we went through that in the pod, didn't we? I don't think my views changed. Like gut feeling, instant reaction is don't like it. But on the other hand, I think I said at the time, but there's a part of me that just thinks at the moment, actually, if there's any way of getting rugby going ahead, considering how much we've missed and how much of a year everyone's had with everything, isn't it? It's any rugby's better than no rugby. So if it's a case of, personally anyway, I think if it's a case of either the only option of it going ahead is to play it over here, otherwise potentially cancelling it, not going ahead at all, that sort of thing, then I think I would be I don't know if comfortable is the right word, but do you know what I mean?
You'd be considering it as an option.
Yeah, just literally just to see the rugby going ahead rather than cancelling it.
But not obviously that anybody's going to be kind of wavered by your thoughts.
Well, I'd be surprised if they're not, to be honest. Our pod is...
Mate, we're getting there. We're up to we're
starting to influence, mate. Starting to influence.
We're back up to 10 listeners now, including my mum.
10 double figures.
It's fantastic. But interesting, it does sort of say in this article, it's understood the Lions have approached the UK government about underwriting the Lions' liability, which is thought to be an important part of the process. So we shall see. Apparently, they're going to make a decision official announcement in March. So that will be another.
It's gone back then because it was meant to be February, wasn't it? But
it was. So that makes me think they are thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, if they're considering the UK thing, obviously with everything that's now been announced in general with the sort of COVID coming out of lockdown and the plan and everything, then there's a lot to consider there, isn't it? So
absolutely. So we
shall see, but
wait with bated breath to see what happens, I guess.
Yeah, carry on waiting.
Carry on waiting. Okay, so do we want to just, as soon as we're sort of, I don't know, we're not talking about...
What are you on? News still, is it?
I was on news. No. I want to bypass news now. I've had enough of news. Let's go.
No, a little. I think the only thing I was going to bring up on news.
Ooh, go on then.
If you weren't going to bring it up, is just because the guy deserves a mention because what of a legend he is in the game. But Mr. Dan Carter announcing his retirement this week. So I just thought that was worth a mention, as we do a little bit on news each week, isn't it? Because he's that's literally a legend of the game, isn't he?
Literally, he is a phenomenal player, a fantastic All Black, and he will sorely be missed from rugby without doubt. I mean, what's your favourite memory of Dan Carter then? Because I'll tell you mine in a minute.
You tell in a minute. You go then.
Oh, I really enjoyed when he got clotheslined by Andy Good. But no, I'm joking. No, I'm only joking, mate. He's is he as good as Johnny Wilkinson? That's the question. I think he. I'm not going to comment. Is he better than Johnny? You can comment.
Why can I comment and not you comment?
I think probably. I think Johnny Wilkinson is a fantastic fly half, and without question, one of the greatest that's ever played. But I do think Dan Carter just edges him. Johnny Wilkinson would always be in my fantasy team, but overall, I think Carter just edges Johnny.
Yeah, I think it probably depends on how you assess it, isn't it? I think if you just look at achievements in your career, then Dan Carter's leading the way there, isn't he? I think.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got three World Cups for starters, isn't he? Is it 3 World Cups or 2 World Cups? I think. Yeah.
He's got all those games for Canterbury, all the championships for Canterbury, all the Tri-Nations for New Zealand. And then obviously, Johnny's obviously got, I think, 1 Premiership title with Newcastle, 3 European Championships with Toulon, 1 World Cup.
Yeah, Carter got 2 top 14s, I think, in France, didn't he?
Did he? With Racing?
Yeah, he won with Racing and one with, who was he with before that, briefly? Can't remember. It's gone blank in my head now, but I think he was with another club. Was it Perpignan? Yeah.
Did they get a title? I think he got top. That he was there? I thought he was injured.
Pretty sure he did, mate. Yeah, overall achievements, I think, and probably just longevity of career as well. But no, Wilco has always got to be a favourite because he's English and he won the World Cup for us with that final kick, didn't he? So that's his automatic getting card into a
absolutely
a World 15 or whatever choice. But no, I think personally, as an all-round player, Carter just edges it for me. But,
yeah.
But yeah, he's very similar in the way that he's an ultimate professional and a really good guy, and similar to Wilco in that way, isn't he? So
yeah, I agree.
It's good to have people like that in the game at the top, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think also the number of kind of ex-professionals and current professionals that paid respect to him, following his announcement, just kind of
says it all, doesn't it?
Just does show all that he's a fantastic guy and a fantastic player, and will be sorely missed from the game, no doubt.
Exactly.
No, I like it, mate. You took control of the podcast then. You kind of did a little bit of the old switcheroo, and it's good.
That's right. I won't do it again, mate.
No, don't ever do it.
You'll have a word after.
Yeah, I will. No, I won't, mate. Let's go to the Gallagher Premiership Friday night. Bath versus Gloucester, and what was the start of the weekend's red cardathon, as I might call it. I don't know. Maybe we can come up with a different name. So, freaking out, mate. I mean, obviously this game was one of our bonus content. I did a little commentary going along last Friday night to this game. Did you listen?
I couldn't make it, sadly.
No, you couldn't. But did you listen to my efforts? What did you think?
I did. I thought actually you did a very good review. Pretty much summed up how the game went, and similar feelings to me. My feelings were probably a little bit stronger than the way you worded it. You worded a lot politer than I would have. But yeah, no, very good, mate. I enjoyed your little roundup.
So I mean, overall, go on.
Yeah, just it was. I did watch a bit of the game, but it got sort of disrupted, and as you do with childcare sometimes, and the rest of it, as we've discussed previously. But so I caught glimpses of it and watched the highlights since as well. But I mean, overall, it was a pretty rubbish game, wasn't it? A red card certainly had an impact on the game.
I think this is where we're going to disagree, mate, because I didn't think the red cards certainly the first one for Ruskin, I didn't think it had that much of an impact on Gloucester in a negative way. I thought it was a more positive way, in that it kind of galvanised them as a unit, as a 14-man team, and they were hammering Bath. Bath were not in that first half.
No, yeah, but I'm not disagreeing with that, but it still has an impact on the game, doesn't it? That's. I agree. Actually, I think that's it, but it still has an impact. But what actually happened with the first red card is Gloucester seemed to even sort of take more of a stranglehold of the game, didn't they? More control in the game, which is with only 14 men. I mean, overall, they performed pretty well actually for Gloucester so far. It's probably one of their best performances, if not their best performance of the season. But Bath didn't perform well. Is the overall take I got from the game. But on reflection, the positive that I'm taking from it is that we managed to grind out a win. Which is the most important thing, isn't it? However crap the performance is, however crap the game is, and whatever goes on in the game, we got that final kick that got us the 4 points, isn't it? So
I mean, Priestland, fair play, balls of steel on that one. It was at that point where he's kicking, it was literally blowing a hooey, and it was raining, and it was
exactly it was horrendous conditions, and like I think I said to you at the time, he's earned his money with that kick, hasn't he? That one kick sort of thing, but that I mean, he gets a lot of criticism about not being this running 10 up at the gain line, getting the back line going, all that sort of player. But actually, to be fair to the guy, what he is strong at is
he's a solid player.
Not necessarily all the time, but he's proven it over the last season to 2 seasons with Bath that he is actually pretty consistent with goal kicking and his sort of tactical out of hand kicking as well. So and is there anyone else in that squad who could have got that kick to win the game under that sort of those conditions and that pressure? That's probably a big question mark, isn't it? So
I'd agree. I mean, I just kind of going back to the red cards, Ruskin's, I have no problem with that. That was a red. He led with his arm, caught the guy in the face. Fair enough. The Williams one, I think as well. Obviously we've got to talk about it because it's the big talking part of the whole weekend. I think again with Williams one, I don't think that's an issue. I think he I know it was a bit of a 2-man tackle, and then the question is, where do bodies go when 2 people collide into one person? But it's just a case of hitting lower, surely.
It's just rubbish, isn't it? It's just seeing red cards in games is just crap. I think it's the disruption it has on the game, as in the outcome of the game, and like you say, it's not necessarily. In the old days, you used to say like a yellow sin bin should be 2 scores or whatever. It doesn't seem to be like that anymore because defences are tighter and all that sort of thing, isn't it? But it does have an impact. Like saying that, although if you go back, focusing on this one, Bath and Gloucester, I think the first red card, and similar, I think, to the Wales-Scotland game over in the Six Nations. Although in theory a red card should be the ascendancy to the team that's still got 15 players, I think. If you're not on a good run and your confidence isn't great as a team and that sort of thing, it actually adds additional mental pressure, which can be more of a negative than a positive. Because in Bath circumstances, you're up against 14 men, and does it start coming into the mind then? Christ, if we don't win this one against 14 men, then especially for the likes of Hooper and the coaches and whatever, isn't it? It's never going to be a good thing, is it? But,
no, I agree.
It's just it's rubbish. All the red cards. It's just. I think when the high tackle laws were amended, we had a similar thing where it was just the refs were just focusing on the literally the letter of the law, which is what they got to do, isn't it? But there was just until the players adapted to it, there were a lot of red cards in quick succession, weren't they? So I think I agree with you. I think it's probably either there's got to be an amendment in the laws to have a bit of a bit more sort of leeway, as in rugby collisions are rugby collisions, what's intent and that sort of thing. But that's a hard call for any referee, isn't it?
A
lot of them are, aren't they? No,
definitely.
And that comes down to personal opinion sometimes as well, doesn't it, for the referee?
Yeah,
but
and I think that will show, like as we kind of go on through the rest of the games, the different kind of referees and different styles and their different opinions on what warrants a red card.
Yeah.
So I mean, happy for about. Go on, mate.
Well, the crux is any contact with a head is a straight red, isn't it? So
absolutely,
like you say, for a lot, not all of them that have happened recently, but a lot of them, it is just a case of players are just going to have to start training and to be technically going lower than they are, isn't it? Because in the tackles.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, mate. Let's leave Bath. I mean, I know you're happy with the Bath win, but it wasn't the great. And I did get
win's a win. Win's a win.
Win's a win. But I have to say, I was a little bit frustrated with how Bath celebrated at the end. It was literally like they won the World Cup or something. I mean, come on, have a little bit of humbleness. I didn't actually see that, to be fair, mate.
Fair play. It was a big win after that, because I fully expected them to lose that the way Gloucester were.
Oh, you expect to lose each week?
No, during the game, you.
Sorry, mate.
I nearly beat myself out there, mate.
Yeah, beat yourself out is good. Okay, so let's move on to Saturday. Harlequins at home to Sale. Hang on a second. Let's just go back. Didn't we both predict a Bath win? We did.
What? Bath, Gloucester. Win. Did you back Bath?
I think
Seems unusual.
I definitely put them on my accumulators, because I won on my accumulator this weekend. So
Oh, great! Better than last week, then, mate.
Yeah, definitely. But I think the next game, you said a Sale victory, and I said a Quins victory, and lo and behold, Quins came out on top, 24-12. And I think
I don't know if you noticed, though. I predicted in our pod a Sale win, but then I put about 4 or 5 Harlequins players in my fantasy side. I don't know.
I did notice that, yeah. So, and during this game, I actually to be fair, I got to watch a lot of rugby this weekend. Harlequins beat.
You haven't you? Yeah.
I have. I pretty much watched every single game somehow. I don't know how. And I think during the Harlequins game, I sent out a tweet saying, Harlequins title contenders, changed my mind. Nobody, unfortunately, replied. So it was just...
Everyone agrees then. Everyone agrees.
Everybody must agree. But they look so good.
Yeah.
They looked so good. I mean, it's amazing. I don't know what the hell's gone on with Gustard, but you know, Danny Kerr is like playing some fantastic rugby. Marcus Smith obviously is just why he's not in the England team. You know, people talk about Joe Simmons not being in there. Why is Marcus Smith not in there? Joe Merchant scored 2 fantastic tries. Harlequins just looked bloody good. You know, Joe Marler was running around smashing people. The pack seemed to have like this nastiness about them. You know, this flanker White, he was really good. I just thought they looked bloody brilliant.
Can't disagree, mate. Can't disagree. They've somehow found just a complete new level, hasn't they? I think you'd kind of fully expect a bit of a sort of shock reaction when a coach goes, like we discussed at the time, maybe a game or two where they're on a bit of a high for whatever reason, if it's like a positive thing in the club or the squad or whatever. But they've kept it going, and they're going almost to new levels each week, isn't it? So yeah. I mean, if you're calling it now, I would definitely say they're top 4 contenders as it stands right now, isn't it? So it's just the only question is whether they can keep this going for the remainder of the season, isn't it?
Yeah, and obviously Alex Sanderson as well. You know, you talk about the spike when somebody new comes in. Sale won 2 games in a row, but now they've lost 2 games in a row.
Yeah.
So it's just really interesting that to see what's kind of going on, just how well they're doing.
Yeah, I think Sale
there is no. Go on.
I think Sale will still be top 4 contenders. It's Sanderson they're just the squad they've got there, isn't it? It's they're going to be there or thereabouts, aren't they? But and they're more of a just the nature of that squad is more of a, or at least sort of traditionally what you know of them over the last couple of seasons, more of a sort of dog it out type squad than get sort of bit of consistency in your results than Harlequins, aren't they? But no, Harlequin they're playing some unbelievable. Like you say, Marcus Smith is he really is at the top of his game now, and he's taken it to another level again. But it's almost like he's been sort of released, free to go out and play, isn't it? Since Gustard's gone,
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's move on to the next game, the Exeter Chiefs game. Now, I think we both tipped Chiefs to win. Yeah. And obviously they lost 13-12 to Saints at home, which is not a normal kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I actually cashed out because I saw that Chiefs were winning, and I think I took losing, and I took I think I came out with like £8 on top. Did you see any of the highlights? Because I watched the game, and to be fair, it was a boring game in terms of it was just dogged, pack, aggression, cancelling each other out kind of scenario. But Northampton just kind of looked like they did to Exeter what Exeter do to other teams. It was that kind of brute force, forward dominated. The kind of defence came out on top, really. I mean, Exeter Chiefs scored 2 tries to 1, and obviously we'll talk about what happened at the end, but Exeter seemed to be off the boil, and I've been saying that for a couple of weeks now.
Yeah, well, I agree. They are. They're certainly nowhere near their best, but actually, some people just start shouting out straight away when you get a couple of defeats or whatever, or they're not title winners this season, all that. But actually, if you look at the last few seasons that Chiefs have either won or ended up in the final come the end of the season, then they've had a run of bad games. I think every team goes through it. You can't, I think we've said before, it's pretty much impossible to go the whole season on flying form, isn't it? But and they are severely depleted. Although they've got one of the deepest, strongest squads in the league, they are severely depleted by internationals and injuries at the moment. So, but that tied in with just being in a bit of a bad run of form means that they are picking up a couple of losses. But they did seem, since the 2-week break, to be, I thought, slightly improved on what they were going into that 2-week break. It looked like the rest did them well, but this game, again, it wasn't a particularly good game. The conditions were, I don't know what's gone on with the pitch down at Sandy Park, but it was horrendous conditions, wasn't it? It's like proper old school. Yeah, it was nice to see from that point of view, but proper old school purist rugby, wasn't it? But
yeah, the pitch did look really rough, and yeah, I think I saw a few comments on Twitter about it.
Yeah, but I agree with you. I mean, it was a power forwards brute force type game, and Saints came out on top, which is the main concern for Chiefs, isn't it?
Absolutely, but obviously how the Saints came out on top. Obviously, they were behind. Chiefs were behind. Skinner scores. Joe Simmons got a kick right at the end to take the victory. And obviously the Saints guys have run up because Simmons is supposed to have moved, and the referee's given the fact that they've blocked the kick. Yeah. What did you think?
Well, I did actually see that. I watched the end of the game, and my instant reaction was in favour of Simmons rather than the Saints players. But I'm not trying to be a sort of or trying to say that in any way think that I'm an expert on the rules of the game or anything like that. But my understanding is any sort of footstep movement is considered as the start of your approach. And I think he did take a step, but on the flip side to that, I think part of his sort of build up to all kicks, his sort of routine, there's a bit of a movement in there, and there's several players that do have that and have had that. I mean, Dan Biggar being one, isn't it? He's
Dan Biggar being the worst, who does a little Macarena before he kicks the ball.
Johnny Wilkinson back in the day used to do foot shovels, didn't he? So maybe there needs a bit more clarity on the rules there. I don't know. I personally, I think with that game, that particular incident, and the fact that kick essentially was to win the game, I think probably the referee should have gone back to the TMO just to be sure he did a movement that is valid for beginning the kick chase, and B, to check that they didn't cross the line and start the kick chase before that
early.
I mean, I haven't studied the footage to know whether that is the case or not, but I think that probably should have been done. But
yeah. And obviously they were shouting as well. He started. You can't be shouting anyway.
Yeah, no, that's true. That you're not allowed to shout at all, are you? So he could have within his right said that's a reset kick because you're shouting, isn't it?
But I think what we've got to kind of also look at is the fact that Rob Baxter's comments after the game, absolutely, he is just a top bloke, and he was literally saying, "Look, we had 78 minutes to win that game, and we didn't."
Yeah,
that's as simple as that.
Yeah, and that's great. That is what you want in rugby, isn't it? There's no bitching and moaning, and I think Simmons' reaction was the same, wasn't he? Obviously, he wasn't happy about it, but he just shook hands with the players, and that was it, wasn't it? But probably go back and headbutt the locker when he gets back in the changing room. But
I don't know, mate. He'll probably have to have a HIA then.
No, yeah, I totally agree. If you're moaning about the last kick of the game or the last referee decision, whatever, then do you deserve to win that game? Isn't it? It should have been put to bed before, really, shouldn't it? But
yeah, and that's where Bax is just total class, in my opinion.
Yeah, he is. He's top guy.
Yeah, top guy. Anyway, let's move on. Leicester, boom, Tigers, top 4 coming up, boys.
top
27
4.
27-8 victory against Wasps at Welford Road. I called it. Did you see any of this game? Because I watched the entire game, and Leicester, as far as I'm concerned, are
champions. They are double. They're going to be in Europe and everything.
They're going to win the lot, mate.
Are they in the Champions Cup? No. But they're going to win it anyway, even though they're not in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Going to win the World Cup. Brilliant.
Did you see the game? They were really good. The pack were fantastic, and obviously we had another incident of we were actually 3 red cards in this game. I've got no problem.
Typical Tigers. They're all Tigers, were they?
No, 2-1. Jasper Wise is 1. No issues with that. That's definitely a red card. What's the other lad?
Liebenberg.
Kieran Brooks is 1. No, leave the Liebenberg one till the end because I'm not so sure about that one. Kieran Brooks is 1 again. Double tackle, arms going into the head. It's just again like we said earlier on. It's really difficult, but rules is rules. He hit his head.
Yep.
And the Liebenberg one, I was a bit surprised it was a red, if I'm honest, because I thought old Josh Bassett was obviously flying. He was really high. Liebenberg didn't look like he actually took him out of the air. He kind of looked like he braced himself to be hit by the guy. So, I was just a bit, and I know Bassett kind of fell, he put his hands out first and then, to brace his fall. But I just kind of thought it was maybe a bit harsh on Liebenberg. I don't know. What did you think?
Didn't watch it, mate.
Fair enough.
You asked me that at the beginning. I didn't answer, but no, I didn't see anything of it, mate. But yeah, cracking result. Well done, Tigers. You're not going to be top 4, but well done. No comments on red cards, mate. I haven't seen it. So, I mean, other than 3 red cards in a game is a bit of a joke, but
yeah. Okay, fair enough. And Tigers for top 4. That's what you're saying, yeah?
Tigers won't be top 4, no. But
okay,
we should put a little wager on it on record, shouldn't we? But...
Go on then. Eyebrows.
What's that?
Put your eyebrows on it.
Put my eyebrows. Are you confident for that?
Yeah. No, I'm not. Anyway, so and the final game of Saturday was Worcester Warriors against the Falcons, which obviously was a cancelled game due to COVID. So we don't obviously need to talk about that. Worcester will get the 4, yep. Newcastle will get the 2. And then the London Irish game against Bristol. Again, I got to watch this.
Oh, you bugger. I didn't see it, mate. I didn't see it, but what a game, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, the first half, I was like, well, this is over and done with. The kids were starting to be a pain in the bum a little bit, and I thought I'd better go and kind of entertain them. So I didn't watch the second half, but when I left it, obviously Bristol were kicking arse, and I was like, well, it's done and dusted. And then I kind of, checked on the score later on and saw it was 34-all. I was like, what the hell's going on?
Well, actually, just on predictions, I think we went either way on that, so a draw's a good shout, isn't it? But yeah, I'm disappointed I missed that one in particular because that must have been a cracking game to watch. But I sort of looked over the if I don't get to watch or do even highlights sometimes, I'll look over the match points and review of the game sort of thing, the overview commentary or whatever you want to call it. And yeah, the only thing I noticed and might have had an influence, might have been potentially a bit of a unusual error, a tactical error by Pat Lam, is he took off quite a few of the big guns fairly early on, around the 50-minute mark, didn't he?
Yeah.
Which, looking at the strength of the Irish, it was almost the opposite. He took off all his experience, and Irish brought on a load of experience. So it's.
Well, yeah, you got to look at it. They brought on Nick Phipps, scored a try. They brought on Augustine Creevy,
yep.
Argentine international, massively experienced hooker.
Yeah.
They brought on Ollie Hoskins, probably one of the best young props going around, and they brought on Sean O'Brien.
Yeah.
Irish international, Leinster legend, British and Irish Lions.
It's not a bad bench, is it? It's not a bad bench.
No, I think Pat Lam, bless him, he did make a bit of a mistake because, like you say, at 57 minutes he took Piatow off. Yep. He brought Thomas off on 54, Capon at 67. John Afoa, 41. So literally come out, played 1 minute for the second half and took him off.
Yeah.
Luatua on 59 minutes. So
yeah, I mean some of them you don't know, conditioning and stuff like that. I mean, Luatua's, I think that's his first game back from injury, wasn't it? So that could be a genuine. He's had his time today, sort of thing. But it was just the number of sort of their more, certainly the likes of Pietau and that big names and experienced guys going off fairly early in the game, isn't it? And it's coincides with an Irish comeback. So would it have happened anyway? Oh, you never know, will you? But
no, of course not. But also interesting again, 3 yellow cards in that game.
3 yellow cards,
which is interesting. 3 yellow cards, 2 for Bristol, 1 for London Irish.
No reds though.
No reds.
That's disappointing.
Just 3 yellows. A little bit. Okay, so I think that rounds up this week in terms of games played. Let's just look ahead to next week's fixtures.
Yep.
So Friday the 26th, we have Sale, Chiefs at Sale.
Yeah.
Stop. I think Sale take that one, mate.
Yeah.
At home, I think they're going to be gunning for a big victory, get them back on track. Chiefs aren't playing well. They'll be without their internationals because obviously there's 6 Nations on at the weekend. I say Sale take that. That's a hard fixture for Chiefs away. I agree is what you're going to say.
Yeah, it is. I was trying to think of a reason to back Exeter other than my heart, wanting them to win it. But I do think.
What do you mean? You support Bath?
Yeah, but Exeter's the local side, isn't it? They're my number 2 team. They're my number. I support Chiefs. I support Chiefs every game of the season apart from 2.
What?
Bath home and away. Yeah, that's it. But no. Yeah, I would like to back Chiefs, but I didn't do very well in the predictions this week, so I'm going to go with my head and say I agree. It's going to be I think it could be a bit of a bosh, bit of a big battle, but Sale I think are going to come out on top. And also they've rested quite a few, especially in the backs, key guys over the last couple of weeks. So I think potentially they've been targeting this one for bringing everyone back fully fit. So
fully loaded and ready to go.
So yeah, I think I agree. Sale, mate. To sum up, I agree.
Okay. Fair enough. And then on Saturday, my Leicester Tigers go to Bristol. Well, there's only one winner there.
Tigers.
Yeah,
I agree.
Oh, you as well?
No, I'm going Bristol, mate. Bristol. No, I'm going Bristol.
Going Tigers,
Bristol. Yeah.
Really? Okay. All right. Okay. Harlequins are away at Falcons now. Falcons haven't played for 2 weeks, so we'll be well rested. Quins are on fire, but it is away at Newcastle. Quins.
I think Newcastle will win it, but I'm going Quins.
No, I'm going Quins as well. London Irish at Wasps. I am going Irish. I don't think Wasps
they aren't.
Well at all.
They aren't.
And they're seriously depleted, and Tigers literally dominated them in the forwards.
Yeah, it's a big shout, Irish away at Wasps, but I'm going to go with you on that one, mate. Irish.
Mm-hmm. Good decision. Worcester at Gloucester.
I'm going to go Gloucester because they have been so close, none more so than against Bath last week, of getting a win, but not quite got it. So I think it's got a break at some point. So I'm going Gloucester.
I think I will agree with you on that one, but I also take into account the fact that Worcester haven't played. No, I'm going to go Gloucester. I think you're right. I think Gloucester have turned the corner a little bit, and although they're not winning the games, I think
the problem they've got.
And so that
Gloucester is it's the losing mentality, isn't it? Now, and if Worcester stay in it and it's tight close to the end, then Gloucester going to start thinking, it's just going the same as the last. That comes into the mental side of it, isn't it? But I'd like to see them. I'd like to see them get a win, to be honest, because they. In all honesty, I'm a Bath fan, but they probably deserved the win last week, so they can have it against Worcester instead.
Okay, fair enough. And probably the game of the weekend on the Sunday, Bath go to the Saints. There's only one winner there.
Bath. Oh, you agree, Saints. Bath? Yeah, Bath. What?
No,
Bath?
No, Saints. Bath. Right. So Rocket
we're screwed, mate.
Bailiff has just been brought into the Scotland team, and he's one of their best players.
One of the most positive. Sort of standing up even through the dark times of recent weeks. And he's off as well. And Jamie Barty's gone as well, isn't he, to Scotland?
Jamie Batty, he's gone. Faletau will go to Wales. Saints don't lose anybody. No, I think
they've lost. Their scrum master's been called up instead of Randall, hasn't he?
Oh, yeah, and they're obviously bigger. Sorry, that's a bit of a stupid thing to say.
Yeah, but they've got
bigger. But Furbank played fly-half last week anyway. And
Mallander's back or coming back to fitness, and they've got Grayson as well if he's fit, isn't he? So,
I'm sorry, mate.
Yeah, well, I'm back in Bath because it's Bath, but it's going to be a tough ask.
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Okay, so Six Nations predictions: Italy, Ireland on the Saturday.
Italy.
I'm going to go.
Really?
No, I think it'll be. I don't think it'll be a massive. Oh, hang on. What the? I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. No, it's going to be Ireland. Ireland are going to pump them.
I don't think they will.
Ireland
pump them. It might be sort of 20 odd points difference, but I think they'll leak a couple, Ireland, but yeah, it's going to be an Ireland win, isn't it? But I don't think it's going to be like a 50-pointer or anything personally, but you never know. Sexton's back, I think, isn't he? And Murray,
you don't.
As far as I know.
Yes. Yeah. So okay, England.
Yeah.
At Wales. Are they they're not playing at Principality, are they? They're playing at
I think it's Principality, isn't it?
They're playing
I think so.
Oh, is it? Okay. Got that wrong then. Oh, no, you're right. It is Principality. So what we saying? England victory?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. If it's similar team selection, similar style of play, similar performance, then I'm very, very underconfident. But I'm obviously going to back England. But it's going to be a tough day for them. I think Wales are going to be A, they're up for it, and B, they're they know how to disrupt England probably better than anyone, don't they? In the pack, have a go and rile us up and the rest of it. So it's going to be a tough day, mate. It's going to be a tough day, but we can't see us dominating in any way. So I'll be very pleased if we do. But the way things have been going, I can't see it.
No, I agree.
But a win's a win. If we get a win.
Yeah, I'm obviously gonna back England, mate. But I think it's going to be tough. Definitely going to be tough. And then obviously, if the France-Scotland game goes ahead, I'm backing Scotland.
Are you?
Yeah, I think they'll beat France. France, realistically, half the team's gone. If the game does go ahead, then I could see France beating Scotland. They weren't trained very well together, because there've been so many injuries and stuff. Not injuries, Jesus.
Isolating and
so many COVID-related things. Yeah, I just think Scotland will do it.
Yeah, well, I can very much see that happening. But if it goes ahead, I personally would still back France mainly because it is in France. I think if it was in Murrayfield, I'd probably be going for Scotland. But just the fact that it's a home fixture, that although they've got guys out in disruption, the guys that step in are not going to be B players, are they? They're still superb talent. So
no, you go back to the autumn international, the autumn games, don't you? Where obviously France put out their second string and
exactly,
England's first team.
And Dupont's out, but the number 9, for example, the amount of talent they've got there, I think you've got to get down to maybe number 4 or 5 choice before you're looking at someone like Morgan Parra and look at the experience and calibre of him. Yeah.
And he's still pretty.
He'd walk into our side, wouldn't he? So.
Yeah. So okay. Yeah. Well, I don't know about. Yeah. No, probably would. Okay, mate. Well, let's not talk about.
Are you sure? You sure you don't want to? Or should we just say same as last week?
No. Yeah. Like I said last week, I obviously sacrificed quite a few players and points in the hope that the following weeks will give me a different breed of players and maybe improve.
Better start working soon, mate. You're nearly 400 points behind now.
Yes, I know. I have noticed. Don't worry. Okay, mate. Well, listen, we'll leave it there for this week. Thank you very much for joining me as always, and we will no doubt catch up next week and talk more ruggers.
Sweet. Thanks for having me again, mate.
Always a
pleasure. Next week.
Take care, and we'll see you soon.
Cheers.
And that brings us to the end of episode 21. Thank you very much for downloading and listening to us give our views on ruggers. We'll obviously be back again next week, checking in on the latest round of the Six Nations, the Gallagher Premiership, and the ladies' game, obviously. It just leaves me to say once again thank you to I Spy Surveys for sponsoring this podcast. It's really appreciated, and if you haven't already gone out and checked them out, please do. They are a specialist survey and inspection company based in Exeter, Devon, so if you do need anything serviced, then they are the people to go to. We are obviously available on all kind of platforms such as Anchor, Apple Podcast, Spotify and YouTube. And as I've said many times before, we are on not YouTube, we are on YouTube, but we're also on Twitter at Top2InchesRP. So go over there, give us a follow, subscribe to our kind of Twitter account, ask questions, leave comments, let us know what you're thinking. Are we any good? Are we rubbish? We don't mind. We're happy to have a listen to people and what they think of us, whether it's good or bad. We'll be here again next week. So we'll catch you then. Bye for now.